I will call this June 18th Mapleton School Board meeting to order, 6:05. Our mission is to provide a supportive and safe learning environment where all students are encouraged and empowered to reach their educational and personal potential. Is there one in here? Oh, right behind us. Okay. Okay, we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I think we were gonna hold all this off till a little further, even though still trying to rush through the business end of it, till later, but Sue and I just talked and we're just gonna do the discussion items now.
Good.
So
this particular
just move to 7.2.
Yeah.
Okay. So if anyone's looking at agenda, we're just gonna move to 7.2 and discuss the life flight issue. First off, I mean, I was the one board member who made the statement of like, we're all in support of this. I just want everyone to know that. We've never not been in support of it. Things have been going on for a year or so. We didn't know. We had no intent or idea that they would end up where they were. So it's highly concerning to us. That's why it's a big deal now to everyone, okay? And I would also like to always say, if anyone ever has questions, concerns, anything that you want to know that you don't feel informed about, rather than word of mouth in it and Facebook in it, you can call any one of us. If you don't know who we are, you know someone who knows us, you can email us, whatever you want to do. And we can always give you a little more direct information, okay? So I'm going to let Sue start with, I know you have the one thing to read, but, and however you want to start it off.
Sure. So we received an email recently regarding life flight landing on the lower field, which isn't the normal practice, and that was a follow-up to email concerns, complaints about using the upper field last summer. So in terms of this particular instance, we actually don't want life flight using that field unless there's some reason they can't be up there. And so I reached out to Deputy Chief Rob Chance and just said, hey, how do we make sure that it's the upper field? Let me help you. Within 2 days, we had a new key over here. Randy jerry-rigged it so depending on which key you have, you can get in. And so everybody has access. And we gave full permission to cut that lock if for any reason they can't get in, so that we just replace the lock and it's not an issue. My biggest reason for not using the lower field is we're planting and growing that garden out, and we actually don't want jet fuel on that field. We're trying to keep it clean and use that, and we're actually putting fencing up pretty shortly here, and want to make sure that the fencing doesn't interfere with a helicopter. We don't get in that practice. So Deputy Chief Rob Chance has been awesome, easy to get a hold of, talk through things, and we got that worked out. I can share, we've talked about putting there's not a formal agreement about an MOU of using our property. There's a 20+ year history. Nobody can quite find when it started. We just know it's more than a couple decades. And he's shared, there was a revision to the map for landing in their practice. It was revised in 2012, and he sent that to me so that I could share it to the person and say, hey, this isn't a new thing, it's been here for a long time, and this is what we do. So in terms of, so that's the newest call, and that's how it ended up on the agenda. And County, I can't see from here, County Commissioner Senega, right in front of you. Looked right over your head. Thank you. Welcome. And you were CC'd on this most recent one, as well as the who was it?
I don't remember. There were
tax
multiple other ones.
assessor,
Yeah, the tax
which I don't
assessor.
think I don't know if that's a real person, but they have an email. And some other questions, just I think asking the board and or me to withhold taxes and those that's not our job. You can contact us anytime, but sometimes we tell you, hey, we're not in charge of that, call somebody else. And that's what played out in this case. And in the questions from each other and between agencies, I think more information, and really it was, hey, what does the rest of the community think? And I think it's pretty easy to say. I'm assuming, I haven't heard from all of you, but I think I know what our community thinks. I do have, so Deputy Chief Rob Chance was planning to make it tonight and called me at about 3:30, and he and their crew were dispatched to a wildfire. And so I do want to read, he pulled over on the way out and sent this so that I could read it to everybody. It's a little long, so bear with me here. Good afternoon. I regret to inform that I cannot make the meeting tonight as we were deployed on a wildland fire. Please give the school board my apologies. Here is the incident report from October 7th, 2024. And this is, I think people have kind of heard some of this out in the community and in calling each other. I'll share, I think this was October 7th, 2024. So it made it to us through third party, hey, did you know this thing happened? And at that time I did call and try to figure out if there was a citation that occurred on our campus, and no formal citation was made, and so we didn't take action based on that. And so I know there were some questions about that part, and without a citation, it's hard to find what's real and what's not. Since then, we have dug more into this, and this is the incident report from that evening. Took a stroke call to Mapleton LZ to hand off to Lifeline for faster transport to Riverbend due to CSTAT positive assessment. It's probably more information than you need. The patient was transferred to Lifeline without incident. Upon attempting to exit the scene and return to service, 2 individuals were seen walking up the road to the upper parking lot with phone lights on and recording. One individual, a male, approached the driver's side window and demanded to know our full names, stating that the helicopter had woken him up when it had landed, that it was flying too low in the air, and that he was unhappy that we were quote, trespassing on his property. The man stood in front of the ambulance during the duration of the incident and would not let us leave to return to service. Multiple attempts were made with the man to reason with him and educate him that there was a designated landing zone at the high school, that this was the most appropriate place to take the patient. That is blinking. I thought that was my eyesight. And that we were not affiliated with the helicopter and had no control over their piloting preferences. The man refused to listen and remained indignant during the whole proceeding. When the man was standing approximately 3 feet to the left of the driver's side window, a singular attempt was made to drive past him and to return to service. Upon seeing us attempt to drive away, the man jumped in front of the vehicle and collided with the front left side, pushing the driver's side view mirror in. When seeing the man attempting to jump in front of the ambulance, our driver, David Gomez, slowed down and there was minimal contact with the man. The man and his wife were both recording the whole thing on their phones. Police were contacted and arrived on scene and were able to get the patient to leave without giving his name or filing a report. M612, I assume that's the ambulance, returned to quarters and were never physically harmed. Based on this encounter, I made the immediate decision to no longer utilize the designated landing zone at Mapleton High School during the evening hours for the safety of patients, my personnel, and flight crews. The decision was unfortunate as we are still searching for an alternative site. However, I didn't want to provoke any future interactions or impulsive and angry behaviors. Even if the encounters never escalated, they still delay our ambulances from returning to service for other emergencies. I hope that we can work on developing a memorandum of understanding that allows our EMS crews to continue utilizing the school at any time, but only for the critically ill or injured members of our community. Unfortunately, we can't control when emergencies occur, and they don't only happen during the day. Respectfully, Rob Chance, Deputy Chief, Western Lane Fire and EMS Authority. And then, I think that's my main, there's probably other things. Do we want to open for comment? Do we want to?
We can. Everyone came for that, I'm sure. We don't, like everyone knows, we don't always or need to or supposed to do this, but because we're a nice small family community, we do. So we will open it up to questions and discussions. Some of the things we can't answer, we'll try to outsource to anyone who can. I just want to remind everyone, like, we're on a time frame too, so we're going to give the time to do this, but maybe some of your questions have been answered so far. They will be in other people's questionings, but let's just be respectful, not talk over anyone. We'll try to get to everyone who has a question. What were you going to say?
This gentleman, is there any way that we could trespass him off of the grounds of the high school so he cannot be here?
Sue can answer that. That's what she was intending before, but didn't have a citation to work on, but.
Yeah, so my recommendation at this time, and I do, like, I know right now, like, there's kind of one person in the community that there's disagreement with. I do, like, I want to share, I also receive emails from him that are very helpful. Their family walks on campus at night, and if they see something out of place or kind of out of the ordinary, give us a heads up, and it's been very helpful. And so what I'd like to answer your question, and then sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. What I'd like to propose and follow through on is, and with making sure the board's in agreement, to trespass for any emergency calls on our campus. And so if there's fire, ambulance, helicopters, if there's something that is emergency response, that you cannot be on campus and you certainly can't be impeding that call, right? If you're down here walking and you don't interfere with it, we're probably not going to give you a hard time. But what this allows us to do is cite and take legal action if there's interference during that, and not leave it up to the responding officer, but to be able to say, hey, that was already in place, warnings have already been given, there should be no interaction with that crew, and to ensure the safety of the responders and the patient. So that's my recommendation.
Yeah, it sounds like he's appointed himself the security of the grounds.
Yeah.
In his whatever capacity he feels he's,
Yeah.
But it has, I think this has caused more harm than good.
Yeah.
Jane.
I just want to say, can we let LCSO talk, because he has to get back to work.
Yeah.
And that's what he's here is for this particular part.
I mean, I don't have necessarily anything to say. I can answer questions. My immediate, this would be probably more of a question for my higher ups as far as a conditional trespass. That is not something I've ever done. So I would have to discuss what that looks like as far as how we would enforce that, where he's circumstantially trespassed, where he's allowed to come on sometimes but not other times. That's not something that is commonplace. So I would have to do some research on how that would work for the legality of it and whether I can enforce that. So.
I think this is something that Deputy Alexander and I can take up with both the sheriff and our county council, because it's pretty special circumstances, and it's certainly worth diving into to see what the logistics of that look like.
Okay. Connie.
I just have a question with Sue's with the MOU that you were talking about. Is that going to be specific to him or to whomever?
Yeah, so this is really just the original emails that we got were like, hey, are you making money off of this agreement? Are you, what are the, like, are you an airport? Those kind of questions.
They're wacky.
And this way, this is outlined, this is the agreement between, and it'll be between, Western Lane, Fire and EMT Authority, because they make the call, they talk to Lifelight, and it could be other responders as well.
I'll include Mapleton Fire with it, because it's actually their jurisdiction that should be setting up and doing the landing zone.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I'm previous Deputy Chief Matt House with West Lane Fire and EMS Authority.
yeah, hey Matt, good to see you in
Background of it,
person.
We helped set up the LZs about 25 years ago in this district of Western Lane County. There's like 26 pre-designated LZs that we have,
Yeah,
this being one of them. It was changed to the lower field, and I voiced opposition to that, and that came from the chief of the fire department. I said, we've never done that, it goes against our standard of practice, was keep it at the football field, and he had said that the school district wanted it to be at the lower.
on the recent one?
No, this happened
Oh,
like a
in
year or
the-
two ago.
okay, okay.
So, and I'm like, that's a he said, she said, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do that too, because I'm retired, I got that card now. But we can, there's 5
Yeah.
of us here from previous history saying that the value of having that there for the community here is impressive, but not only for 101, 126,
Yeah,
and our patients that are, some of them are coming from, well, we get this coastal version that comes in, it's about 5 miles of fog that socks us in, not sucks us, excuse me. That's on video, right? It socks us in, but we can't, get a helicopter in our landing zone. We also have other landing zones in the city that we try to use versus coming 15 miles out. But the goal is always to go to destination hospital. So destination hospital generally say our Riverbend. So we want to be going that way in case there's mechanical, other issues going on with the helicopter, that we can continue on with the best patient care. So just a little bit more insight, sorry to jump in.
yeah, no, super helpful.
Really,
Yeah.
the founding district, if we call for a life flight, it's a Mapleton 23 or by Richardson, we'll call Lane County, or Lane Fire Authority to set up an LZ for us, because that's their district. And we understand that, Mapleton's fire district's numbers are a little bit lower, like throughout the nation, the volunteer numbers are lower. So we will come up and do a LZ, or Life Flight will actually land by themselves, as long as they know that they're landing by themselves.
But they know they can cut the thing.
Yeah, well, and that's what the MOU will help is, for us, during this, my contact's been with Western Lane, because that's kind of where, and I have talked with Chief Patterson on this, not recently, but in the summer, when we got the emails in the summer, maybe into the fall. And it seems like, our ambulance drivers were responding when they can, but not always, and so it's a mix, but we'll write the MOU with both so that everybody's on the same page. That's great advice.
Did you still have a question?
I just had a quick question for the officer. I'm just wondering, is it a crime to impede an emergency vehicle?
I believe so, and I'm familiar with the situation that happened, and my understanding is when our deputies arrived, there was just not enough people who were willing to, we couldn't get anybody to give a statement about really what happened to the point that we could articulate a crime.
So there was no witness to the crime?
I think after we talked with everybody involved, there wasn't enough to get us to where we could go charge the guy.
Thank you.
So, and I can do some more follow-up on that, I'm not 100% sure, but I recall that call, and it being an issue with Florence was the original responding, and when we got out here, everybody had pretty much left,
I see.
so.
Thank you.
So there wasn't enough to be able to pursue any kind of criminal with him, but yet we have that letter, or that they won't respond. So there was enough of something to have happen that the ambulance is refusing to respond or with that. So that's something, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and like I said, I don't have enough information on that situation.
I mean, I don't
To
want
give a good
something
answer,
bad
so.
to happen to him, I just want us to be able to have the ambulance come up.
Yeah.
None of us wants to hurt him in any way or do any kind of something that would, cause a bad effect to him. We just want to be able to have the ambulance come up and have life flight, to save people's lives. That's all we want.
Julie?
So that's kind of my question, is more to law enforcement on what can be done or what you can recommend can be done to ensure that the ambulance crew, the patient they're trying to transport is safe and get it through to this person that they can interfere? Is there, what can we do?
I mean, I think definitely a trespass, letting him know the situation and letting him know the severity of the situation would be the right direction. That's where that conditional trespass kind of gets into kind of gray area where it's like, well, he's allowed sometimes, but not allowed other times.
Would it be different if it was not a conditional trespass?
I mean, I think it would be, but once again, it wouldn't necessarily prevent him in the moment from coming.
Right.
I mean, so.
Which is, I'm sure the concern, because whether, even if the ambulance crew is like, that's okay, we can take him on, they still can't make the choice to jeopardize their patient.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's the.
So if you had video, if there was a camera there, would that help the situation in the future? Like in that landing zone for somebody coming up? I mean, could you use that as?
That would help build a case, I mean, and to help understand what actually happened. You know, I mean, if I responded to a call where he was impeding the ambulance, I would 100% take action. So I'm not sure what the disconnect was, but I believe, like I said, I think it was the fact that when our deputies responded, everybody was gone. So there was no way to even figure out who was there, what had happened until after the fact. And you know, follow-up may have needed to be taken place, but it didn't happen. And I mean, I can't justify that, so.
I think people just didn't know that also that Florence showed up first.
Yes.
Yeah, so that night, Florence Police actually came up here for us, for our community, which is really awesome. And then LCSO came. And when they showed up, that's why things were already kind of dispersed, because Florence did come up here to our rescue, so to say. Because they sure aren't supposed to come up here for us.
Well, and this is actually, I mean, there's actually been 2 events that have happened. So I had a meeting with Life Flight, and they gave a great statement, but I mean, we read something similar. They're dedicated to come anytime they're dispatched, 24/7. They'll come land in the field. They just need the dispatch to do it. But while we were in that meeting, they did talk about they beat the ambulance one time, so then they got the brunt of it. They got the what are you doing here, and they actually had to separate them. And so I think the path we need to head down is, you know, the trespass and what does that look like? Is a conditional trespass, is it gonna work? And I will meet with Mr. Millard after this meeting and just kind of tell him the direction we want to head and kind of give him his options. This is what we can do, but you're gonna have to help too. You can't come here and you can't harass our ambulances, you can't harass Life Flight, and if you do, we're gonna have another meeting and you'll be trespassed completely. I mean, that's the only real option I see at this point.
So how quickly can we find out if a conditional trespass is even a thing? Because we need to like move on this.
We'll report back. Well, I mean, I'll meet
In a day?
Friday
Okay.
with county council.
Okay.
I'll probably, our sheriff, he loves phone calls. He's on calls
Yeah.
24/7. I'll call him after the meeting and just kind of tell him how it went, because he's been asking about it and looking into it. So, county level, they know what's coming. I mean, this isn't a surprise to them. We've been talking about it, and so I think we'll be ready to react pretty quick after this meeting.
Good, okay.
So I have a question. I don't know a whole lot about the situation other than I'm so glad that we have Life Flight. So at this particular point, is the ambulance and Life Flight not coming because of safety concerns? Or are they still coming when it's needed?
No, they've still been coming. What that talked about was them not coming in the nighttime hours. And so that's where they said, hey, it's not safe, because that's when the altercation happened. So they've still been coming in the daytime. Do we still hear complaints about it? Absolutely.
But they won't come at night at this point? Like if
Right
something
now, I
happens in the
think they
middle of
might
the
right
night?
now.
Because we
of all
don't
the
make those decisions, I don't know. I mean, based on just what I read there, I think they're certainly trying to find other spots during evening calls, but it also said we haven't landed a great other spot. Matt, do you know?
Yeah, we're on a safety stand down to that LZ right now.
Okay.
For this particular situation. And looking at other alternate LZs, street designated LZs that we have set up in between Florence and Eugene. So if this one is still like what it is right now, we may go to Richardson, the Rock Quarry, Mapleton 27, the field at Hill Valley, so forth down the line. It all depends whether, there's always a dependent factor for us.
Yeah, and my understanding, lighting and whether we end up the best spot most times and would be the ideal spot. So to answer your question, like, we want to work quickly through this so that we're not on a safety stand down and we know it's safe here, so that it can be utilized anytime.
So is that safety stand down just for the evening hours?
For what I understand right now, I'm not actively
Yeah.
in the organization, but I still get emails and I still get like a pipeline of information more than I want, but from my understanding, in the evening.
I think it was like a dusk to dawn type of thing or something,
Yeah.
Sorry?
like a dusk to dawn type of thing.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just gonna say pretty much from sunset to sunrise.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then during the interim while this is happening, excuse me, we'll still be able to have the alternate sites that we can use if necessary. It just depends on the acuity of the call as to which ones we like to pick, because it's not in the best interest of our patients, and that's why this was so important for us here. But we do have the ability to change to different locations for a while to help this
As soon
problem
as he's
out.
done.
But appreciate not having to do that on a permanent basis, because the district is working very well.
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Okay, I have a question. If they decide that they're going to trespass, is that good for a year, and then you have to renew that trespass after a year?
If I've trespassed somebody, I've trespassed somebody, so,
For good?
yeah.
Right in front of her. Yeah.
Just a suggestion, I think Ryan's on the right track. But him speaking to them is one thing.
Yeah.
I think probably maybe a little legal advice from somebody to send him a registered letter or something that's served to him. And if there's any more incidents, he would be trespassed on a permanent basis. That he couldn't step foot on the ground.
It will be a legal process. That's just me going to him and saying this is, because I'm sure he's curious what's being said in here. And I would like to portray that to him. So that was me going to talk to him.
But that's not trackable. That's not like a registered letter.
We would, like, if a school district formally trespasses,
There'll be
we write a
paperwork.
letter,
Yeah.
we deliver it, we send it, we'll get it to the sheriff,
Well, I'm not saying
office.
to formally trespass him now.
Yeah.
If there's one more incident, if he comes onto the ground.
Yeah,
when they're
but even
there.
if we conditionally do it, I want that formally, so that it's documented and has been received and
I don't think you can do
those
it
kind of
conditional,
things.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Did
feel
you
that.
still have something? Okay, right up here really fast.
My name is Ray Mader.
Uh-huh.
I have one more question.
We live next to the football field.
Yeah, we live
Okay.
next to the football field.
Okay.
Yeah, right behind the scoreboard. It's perfect. We can watch all the games right from there. Anyway, one more question. I just want to clarify. So this problem is a law enforcement issue, is that correct?
In regards to,
Fixing it?
It's a community effort.
Well, if
We're
a
gonna work
person's
with the
coming
school.
here
I
and
mean,
violating this property and inhibiting ambulances and emergency vehicles, isn't that a law enforcement issue?
I would say it's definitely.
Thank you,
starting
that's
to
what I
go
wanted to know.
Beyond, yeah.
So we'll be looking to you guys for some answers.
Well, I mean, it's like, again, it's law enforcement, but also, like, there's all these steps we can take to make it a stronger case, and support, so, yeah.
But it's a law enforcement issue, that was my point.
If he's breaking a law, then yes, it's a law
Thank you.
enforcement issue.
Karen,
Yeah, I
You
was
can go.
just wondering, having something conditional makes it, he said, they said, he said, they said. To me, it needs to be black and white. If he can either come on the ground or he cannot. That's, because anybody that would even think about doing what he did is
Needs to be told.
he's not thinking straight. Somebody could die because he's standing in front of the ambulance. So, I mean, to me, it's a black and white situation.
Has the gentleman been here for a long time? Has he just gotten older and crankier, or?
Yeah, 5 years.
No, I
I mean,
She's been here 5 years.
he's been here 5 years, where did he come from?
Florence.
Oh, really?
Go ahead, Jamie.
So no matter if any issues that we have in town, even if it seems so minuscule, we need to get in the habit of calling it in. Because he can't be out here, he's the only one we have right now. And the only way we're ever gonna get more officers out here is if the correct people know that we need officers out here. Because right now, it's him. And
Deputy Alexander.
You're trying to so hard to be formal.
I was.
I got it.
But we have to call. I mean, that was what Sergeant Tim used to say over the last 5 years. You call about every little thing, even if it's the non-emergency number. Document everything. And just like documenting with this dude over here, that if you see him doing anything, document it, because then he can do something about it. But we have to be proactive in actually making the phone calls. And don't feel bad about it, because that's how we're gonna keep our community safe. He's gotta do it. That guy's down there. And the short one next to him, too.
That's where we kick his first.
Well, Jamie is right though, because we looked up what we have on him, and it's nothing. We have a phone call that Florence left, we showed up, everything dispersed. That's not much to go on.
But they need to look further back into his Florence history.
I talked with Florence, and he doesn't have much history in Florence either.
Really?
How long have you been
I
in
have
Florence?
another question on
How long?
that.
How long has BT been in Florence?
I'm not sure. Before he was here, he was living in Florence. I'm not sure how long, but he didn't have a huge
I was just wondering about
history.
mindset.
Yeah.
What can we do then, because there's a lot of times, because you are only one person, we call and there's absolutely nobody available to respond.
Exactly.
What can we do to make sure that it's noted and documented, so even if you weren't able to get out here at that moment, there is still a paper trail that this happened?
So every call that you make to the sheriff's office gets put into a permanent record. So just calling, it makes the permanent record. And if you have that name, then it's gonna get linked to that name, and at that point, I'm gonna see, oh man, there was 5 calls last month for this person. And that allows us to have a history on the person to know what's going on. Okay, this is obviously escalating, or it's not escalating because we've never had any contact with them. That's kind of our matrix when we're looking at something like that.
Yeah, that phone call with the best information, the most information, to link everything together is what we currently don't have.
Yeah, go ahead, Rick.
One of the things we do is that anytime an incident happens, we have to write an incident report on anything happens, whether it's damage to property or an incident like this happens, so that they know that what has happened. And it goes to the chief officers too, so they're not caught unaware of what happened. We don't just say, well, okay, that just happened, we'll just ignore it. No, we have to document anytime an incident happens. So there's always documentation that have to do that.
I have a question, and we can work this out in the MOU process, but would it work to say, for Mapleton and Western Lane Fire, any incident report connected to responding here needs to be reported to the police, so that that's an agreement in there?
Yeah, as long as it follows HIPAA guidelines.
Okay.
That's the main thing with that.
Okay, so we
You
can.
want to protect the patient.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Confidentiality and stuff like that. And generally, these incident reports like you read that verbatim because I read it too.
Yeah.
It is about protecting, because that incident reporting system we have is within our system as well, so everybody can actually see that. So we trained our people, keep it vague but to the point.
Yeah.
Tell them what happened, what the safety issue was, what this was, or why you were an idiot and backed into a mailbox, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. I wonder, because that seems in this particular case that it was written, it's well documented, it just lived there. So when I called, is there a citation? No, there's not. I don't have that information until
So I think
much
it's great
later. Yeah.
communication link that, the MOU could establish that as well. Or even just common practice, like, hey, this happened, send it to the board.
Yeah.
I can talk with Chief Chance about that.
Okay, yeah, we'll write that into there. Yeah.
Quincy, did you?
Yeah, I got a question for you. So I was a former fire warden with the Department of Forestry, and I've had incidents with this character as well. If I have some of those past investigations, can I send them to you? Would it build the case, or is it not even
I mean, right now, we don't really have a case to build, so I
Well,
mean,
character.
but yeah, I mean, any information helps, and like you guys have said, I'm the one out here, so like, even if I'm not on and another deputy responds, I always get an email about, hey, we responded out to the Florence area or the Mapleton area or wherever, so I'm aware of the situation. Until this came up, I wasn't super familiar that there was such an issue out here. But just this alone, now it's on my radar. So I mean, if something comes up, I'm gonna know, okay, hey, we're having continuing issues with this guy. So
I'm a little confused, I guess, in that there are witnesses to the confrontation on the field. I mean, the ambulance drivers, I mean, there were people that witnessed it happening, right?
like I said, I wasn't there,
Well,
and yeah.
From what you read.
Seems like
Yeah,
somebody
it
wrote
seems
the
like it. So,
Yeah.
being a fisherman and a former guide, besides a school teacher, I'm thinking, if somebody breaks a game law, they get a great big fine, maybe jail time. Somebody impedes somebody's health, safety, and nothing's happening. I think he's already used up he's on strike 3 as far as I'm concerned. And without that lifeline, I can throw this in, my youngest son wouldn't be sitting here with us. And so I feel real strongly that enough has been said and done. Bring the witnesses. I think it could be demanded. These witnesses need to come forward, that yes, he stood in front of the ambulance, he impeded it. Maybe there's a time limit here, but I don't see why. And he needs to either be fined severely, arrested. There has to be a consequence.
Yeah, no hand slap.
And this thing with a conditional trespass, I just can't see it. He needs to be trespassed off this place for good.
Yes.
I mean, I taught here for 30 years, and things like that were handled a whole lot different when I was here. And some of us, well, I won't even go into that. Statute of limitations to get me in trouble, I suppose. But anyways, I think we're sidestepping the real issue here. There needs to be consequences. He needs to know either a fine or jail time or something. An example has got to be set or this is going to continue. I mean, I had too many students that I watched get their hands slapped and they're right back in the cookie jar within a week. And I know he's an adult, doesn't sound like it, but he's supposedly an adult. I don't know, I get a little worked up. I just think that enough talk's been talked, enough's been said. I think you guys need to make a move.
Yeah.
Second.
Go ahead, yeah. Are we out of place if we ask you to please ask us what we want to do so that you hear that, like by a raise of hands, a conditional trespass or just a trespass? Because you guys are him-hawing about it, but I feel like we're not him-hawing. I mean, she's right, Johnny wouldn't be here. He's right, Johnny wouldn't be here if we didn't have Life Flight. Do you want to know what we think or no? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, that's the process we're in right now, is listening to you all, so we definitely want to know. And and I think we could do sort of a show of hands thing if we want to.
Yeah.
But we actually, we need to discuss as a board too.
Well, yeah.
So like, I think to go, just like kind of continuing to hear from people and making sure we have everybody, and then discussing.
Is
the board also aware?
The golden hour, if he is impeding a vehicle within the golden hour and someone loses their life, you know, because they're dealing with this guy, that would be a tragedy, so.
Well, there's one more little issue too, and this is probably real unlikely, but let's just say when Johnny was being transported and I happened to be there and he happened to be there, it would have gone south in a hurry. I'd be the one that ends up in trouble, but what I'm saying is, to protect the community, you've got to protect those people that come up here with Life Flight. I've said enough.
Well, that's what I was expecting.
So, ex-safety officer of Western Lane Ambulance, please do not engage this gentleman, let the law enforcement take care of that. if we get documentation a couple of times, let them do their job, this should be resolved. If we engage in the community to this guy, we could escalate this and make it even worse yet. So let's just we appreciate you guys listening to us and getting some information from us and us from you to kind of get to know where we're going with this. And I think we can let law enforcement get this and dealt with things. And we have a lot of players, Matt House and the fire department, Rob Jansen, right them on top of this. It won't let this go until we get a good resolve for it. So we just be patient with it, but do not engage these people. You'll create more issues.
There was someone in the middle.
Yeah, so you said that, we should make phone calls. What number do we call? I don't know.
It's, if anybody wants to write it down, I'll tell you right now.
I've got my phone ready.
Anybody else need to get ready? It's our non-emergency line, so. It's 541-682-4150.
4150.
And I will look into what happened on our side and just to figure out kind of what happened and if there is some sort of enforceable action or if there needs to be some people I need to talk to figure out what actually happened that night. Like I said, I'm not familiar enough with the situation to make any solid statements about what happened that night and why he wasn't fined or cited or arrested or anything like that. I can't speak to that, but I can say, I promise I will look into it to make sure that there's, that everything's on the up and up, and if there is something to do, then we'll do it.
We're looking at it.
Julie.
If you're saying then there's a possibility of going back to this, there's not like a statute of limitations?
There is a statute of limitations, and that'll be something else I'll have to consider.
Okay. If you are able to, I don't know what the statute is, I'm not sure the timeline either, but I'm a witness to another incident.
Sure.
Ma'am?
Sorry, yes.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Sue Wilson.
Is it possible for me to get a copy of the email that you received from the sheriff's department explaining that incident?
The one that I just read?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be public, right? Because we read it into here, so, make sure I have your email address.
So you want me to give you my email?
Yeah, or not right now, but you,
Okay,
before
okay.
we leave, tonight, make sure I have that,
thank you.
yeah.
One more. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to say, I think Rick is totally on the right track here. I think it hugely muddies the water to have anything even approaching conditional. I think this man has lost his privilege to be here, and clear, direct statements are what's necessary now. As far as going backwards, I don't know about that, but there's clearly enough information to create something that no trespass, period, or there's going to be real consequences.
Thank you. Okay, so, no one has any additional questions? Okay. So yeah, we are discussing the MOU later, right?
Was there any submitted public comment that was?
Sharon, did you have any?
There were the one, well, I sent the correct one, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's another one from Lindsay Phillips, is a local family with a home directly under the path of the Life Flight. We are in full support of Life Flight continuing to serve the Sciacel region with its essential services. Losing this site for our EMS would be detrimental to our entire region and should not even be a matter of discussion. Please continue to fight on behalf of us all to preserve this service. Thanks for all you do. And Holly Topping, I've heard that the issue whether Life Flight should be allowed to land at the school fields is being addressed. At this meeting, it's a vital service for our community. The weather in Florence makes it difficult for them to land there. There are many elderly in our community in Florence, as well as a high number of major injury and fatality accidents on our highway. I live directly next to the high school. Is their landing loud? Yes, but it is not a major disturbance. It's a small one to support the necessary service.
Ask them. Yeah, sure. Okay, so for later when we do discuss, we will ask you guys then, I'll just have you guys show of a hand as far as the thoughts, which I think really anyone correct me if you're wrong, raise your hand, but I think it would just be, you know, conditional trespass is what is being looked into, or regular trespass, okay? No disagreement? Okay. So, a show of hands for those in favor of a conditional trespass. Perfect, and just a complete trespass. Thank you.
Is there a reason why we're gonna wait to have the conversation? I mean, full transparency, everybody's here.
Yeah, we can just do it. No, I just meant, yeah, the after that.
Yeah. Sorry, just a dumb question. I don't know what the people online can see, so I just want to say that was unanimous.
Unanimous
so
as
that
far as,
anybody
yeah.
listening knows what just happened. So, okay. I was gonna whisper, but I wasn't quick enough.
And I don't know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm in complete agreement with that, just simply because if you do anything less than that, you open that gray area of, okay, well then one more time, they're just gonna come back on again. So, and they can say they were just walking the dog and it accidentally happened. Whatever the case may be. It does become a he said, she said, and well, I was there for this and then this happened, or they were in my way. So I just would rather not have any possible chance for an incident again. Anyone else?
I also think that a conditional trespass will, for lack of a better word, just piss them off more and then cause it to be worse. So yeah, I think a regular trespass.
We're just discussing this now, though.
Okay.
It's in reference to what you said.
Okay. Well, hang on, Michelle.
Yeah, I agree with the argument that he's lost his privilege. I mean, it's already happened. We're over it.
Yeah, and also, like, we just don't even know if it's a thing, and I don't wanna waste the time. Like, we need to act on this, like, we need to act on this yesterday, so I'm just like, I just wanna move on this, like, immediately, so let's just do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the clarity is important. I mean, I had thought, before having this discussion, conditional, okay, if it's not, during that event, like, we also have a public space, and it's really important to us to make sure the public space is available to the public. So that's kind of, but I think in this case, it's so much safety oriented, and that having no gray area is in there or as little as possible is really important, so, yeah.
We have a no tolerance for bullying for our students and staff. And, I mean, so that makes an argument for we don't tolerate bullying, and that's really, I mean, it's far more dangerous bullying in this case than just someone being nasty. This is
life or death.
Yes, so yeah, I would like to see us be unequivocal. This is how we feel, this is what we're gonna do. And then law enforcement understands that we have no tolerance for this. End of story.
And then the big thing is like formalizing it, because I don't like this, like, this is how it's always been, and like very handshake kind of agreement. I mean, I love that about our community, but in this case, that kind of, bit us in the butt, right? So, like, formalizing this, getting that in place, like, again, yesterday is kind of what I'm wanting right now.
Yeah, agreed.
Can I ask my question, Andrea?
Sure.
Will this make us go back to where we get our after hours? I mean, like, he will have no say, he can't talk down our.
It has to be a decision. That's not our decision for them to come at night. We didn't make this decision for them not to come at night.
For you.
I understand the question. I didn't understand your question, but I
didn't
tracked
say
it.
it correctly.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, I'm tracking it now.
It's
so.
When you write the letter to them and everything.
Well, I think with all of that, it will give them the more comfort to do that. And that's what they're needing to hear from us. I mean, that's what I heard in that email, was that they want to be able to come here whenever they want. They just need to know it's gonna be okay for everyone. We just wish we would have known more sooner that they just made that decision just because they felt unsafe. So, we're happy to hurry. No, it's okay. We're happy to hurry and change it. I think that's what everyone wonders. I don't know that we can turn on a switch for tonight, but I think it helps, I would like.
We don't have one
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah, I would like nothing to happen tonight or the next couple nights until this is in process and it's fine, but I think this helps them and they'll then return using the service here, so.
Is a trespass something that he can, like, lawyer up and fight against. So that's something we should also be ready to.
Yeah, that's why we
I'm
should
not
get
legal to I mean, I can trespass anybody from anywhere for any reason, so.
Yeah, I think
This didn't
because
even
it's
need to
our
happen to be
property.
I mean, I'm not saying he should have been trespassed without this, but like, if you guys just decided you want to trespass him from here, I'd just trespass him from here. So he just needs to be formally notified essentially, and then we need to be aware that he's been trespassed.
So you can go to his house tonight.
Also,
and say,
Like I said, it's more on your guys' protocols, because now, I mean, nowadays there's businesses that I'll go to and be like, you want them trespassed? And they're like, well, I gotta call my owner, you know, and talk to them. So I mean, it's like, I don't
You
know.
guys are the owner.
As,
so
as this public property,
and
if it's up to you guys to
Yeah.
want him trespassed, then we can trespass him.
I also wonder maybe if we should, as a school, like put cameras up there just for any sort of,
Yeah, I put that into that
backing,
too,
just to.
just like in more
Because
locations.
anybody can say you're trespassed, but he sounds off his rocker, so he might just defy
Yeah,
that.
like
you
what
know?
are they gonna do? They don't know in what future.
Yeah.
It's like,
So I don't know, I just think maybe, why not?
He could walk around to the track and come down, and nobody'd even know if there weren't cameras up on the field at all.
Where the ambulances and stuff, it's not real.
I think they'll work on that.
Yeah,
Sounds
so we
like
do,
his
we have
rules are
cameras
tight,
up
so.
there, where that lands is the best angle, we'll
Yeah.
figure that out. But, we do have cameras up there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, you guys, really, thank you so much for taking care of this for our community, because we need to feel safe, and you guys are.
It matters to all of
Real quick, someone in the back.
So I'm sitting here listening to all this, and the issue that was cited in the email was they got the patient onto the helicopter and out, but the ambulance couldn't get out of the school grounds. So it sounds like to me we still need to be concerned about being able to get that ambulance on the school grounds and off the school grounds. Whether you've trespassed the guy or not, he could be in the middle of East Mapleton Road and be a pain in the double, snakes to coming and going. So I just, don't forget that's the bigger part of the issue. And I love our LCSO, but come on, there's one dude that gets to do the whole county the size of the state of Connecticut. So, you know, if he's out in Lowell, he's not gonna be able to get there in time to make sure we can get that ambulance onto the football field or out back onto the route again. So that's the only thing that I'm missing in this conversation is that guy can still be harassing and not be on the school grounds. Unless you're letting the ambulance come up off the, by the scoreboard onto the football field.
Yeah.
I know there's
Rick,
not a
did
real
you have
road
something to
there.
say?
I just want to make a comment that, apologize that we do use a lot of the field, but it really makes a world of difference. Our call volume has gone up in the last 40 years, 4,000 calls.
Oh, yeah.
We run 4,000 calls, 4,500 calls this last year. We've actually used Lifelight 5 times within 24 hours. We're the biggest the biggest place that uses Lifelight more than anybody in the state. It's very important that we do get back into service. You're saving us a lot of time. We can run 24 calls in 24 hours. And it makes a world of difference if we can unload a patient and get them going and when we get going too. It also makes a world of difference that when you're calling something like C-STAT or somebody's having a cardiac arrest or something like that, people that are having heart attacks that we send over on Lifelight, we have such a good reputation here that when they land over the Sacred Heart, the cardiac team is already ready for them. Other agencies, when they bring somebody who's having a heart attack, they don't get to go straight to the cath lab. Our people do because they know what to do in that, and they've got a good reputation. But getting them there makes a world of difference, gets us back in service faster so we can go to other calls. There are times that we ran 10 calls an hour, and to get going, it means a lot to us, so we appreciate it. Community support.
Well, we definitely appreciate the work that you're doing. That's the only reason, we want to be as supportive as possible because of how important it is. So, yeah, very much.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Can we all run out now?
No, well, no offense to the board, but y'all clapped for us. If you respond, if you're fire, EMS, law enforcement, will you stand or raise your hand?
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys all for coming. Can't say I would have expected anything different, as far as where we landed on anything, so, you know, we have action items later as far as the trespass and the MOU goes. And we'll continue on with those, and then, yeah, we do have to move on to other business, so we really appreciate all of you guys coming out. We needed it for the community, it's, help support the school in backing this whole thing, so, yeah, we appreciate it.
And, yeah, thank you. And you're welcome to stay and listen to other parts of the meeting.
Yeah, have fun, have fun, have fun.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't know if there's anything
For coming.
Thank you, Bonnie, for everything.
Thanks for coming.
We really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Being so open, and thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I know.
Yeah, oh, no problem. No, this is. No, what's all there? No, expect, I didn't know. So I know he's a very person.
They were,
So I just, I've had a situation about 5 years ago.
Come in.
Guys who needed to resolve.
Okay. At my house.
Perfect, thank you. And I started drafting along, and I was like, just gonna call her. And there could be a lot of different.
So I'm gonna see you later, but that's what's happening.
Okay. Oh, I get you're busy with his.
In a year.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Continue while people move.
That's true.
Good to see you. You too. Thank you.
I love your sweater. I just needed to see.
Do we want to
Because I see these two are hanging.
Yeah.
do we want to just do that?
Yeah.
For the
Whatever.
list? 8 point, it would be like 8.6 and 8.7?
Yeah, 6 and, no, you're probably right, probably should be separate, 6 and 7.
Chair.
Oh, he's probably outside of their situation.
Wow, I got quiet and hurried.
I think
Sorry.
nobody cares about the rest of it. Have a great night.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, sounds good. And we're giving the other copy to Trump, so
Okay.
they have, actually, we didn't, anyway, just the Trump.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, let me know if you have questions.
Do we want to move to anything particular? I know Ryan's still here, so I didn't know. Do we just want to move to the trespass and the MOU action items? Yeah. Okay.
Care of it. Put that as an action item. right now.
Yeah, we'll call it 8.6 and 8.7.
Yes.
I did trespass first and MOU second. So we're gonna move to those action items of that, Ryan. As far as trespassing him, and then Sue did draft up a pretty good MOU.
So I had a
Well,
question.
not MOU, but.
Or, I'm sorry, the resolution and tell the MOU, yeah.
I had a question about the trespass. Are we just trespassing
Right.
Mr.
Right.
Millard, or are we trespassing Mrs. as well? So that's one thing we didn't
That is a
discuss.
good question.
Both were part of.
Exactly,
the application, I
both
think
were.
both.
And I don't
involved.
have other information. I only have the one incident, and this is I just got that today, and that's the most detail I've had about it, so, but it sounds like you have a second.
He's signed a lot of emails like Martin, me, Millard, and family. So I would just would be inclined to trespass the family.
I mean, is that a thing?
Well, yeah, because then if he knows he's trespassed and something's happening and he just sends somebody else, I mean, that's what I imagine would happen, right? Go up there and harass them, I don't know. So, I mean, that's in the back of my mind what I would expect would happen, but at the same time, you know, the correspondence is from just him, so. Anyway.
Okay.
Don't his kids use
Yeah,
a
yeah.
play area?
Oh, the
Yeah,
kids.
yes, I think not, I think that it would be
They're just the
good
wife.
to
The wife.
Yeah.
Just the,
That's who,
yeah.
The adults.
That's
Yeah,
who
who people,
is.
yeah, who
Just
were
the
involved in that
adults.
incident.
Right.
So the
Yeah.
adults then.
Right.
Yeah.
Do their kids go here?
No, but they do access school grounds for use, which I think is what we want. So, you know, we want that to be open to people, so.
Correct, yeah, of course.
Okay, so,
I don't have a name, but I will work on a name for the wife.
Sarah.
Thank you.
I will just say that these trespasses too, they're not for, you can revoke at any point in time. If you ever decide like, well, you know, this has become an issue with him and you'd like to give him a chance, I mean, you'll have to deal with the community, but it can be done. So it's not a forever thing, but I think it would send a strong message.
Well, do we wanna, okay, so do we definitely wanna trespass Sarah also? Yeah,
I
yes,
think so,
right, okay.
because of the
The
involvement in
altercation.
that
Right.
altercation and.
okay.
Right, okay.
Okay, so then I would call for a motion to trespass Mr. and Mrs. Millard from the property.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay.
So who, like, do we just let,
Yeah, so there's it's funny, if you search this online, there's like a form, but then when you ask about it, nobody actually knows that there's a form that who's supposed to receive it. So I will complete the form and send it to lots of people who are here and whatever address it says, but I don't want to trust that we just send it to that address. So like,
Okay.
I'll give it to Deputy Alexander, if I can give you a copy, and then
a copy here?
who did he say? The sheriff.
Yeah,
Is that who?
Sheriff
Yeah,
Wilkerson
yeah.
And fire
And-
fire rescue, so.
Yeah, so all the different people that we're talking about in this meeting, I
Okay.
think we just send off copies to say, hey,
Okay.
this is real. And then we can send a certified copy to, is that what you call that? Yeah, certified mail. And the thing you look up online makes it sound like they have something that, like the sheriff's office has something that they send as well. But that seems like maybe a pre-COVID website that fell out of, like they just may not have the capacity to do those things. So we'll do it from our end. We'll make sure everybody knows about it, and if they have a process, they can do it too.
Okay.
So,
Tomorrow.
yeah,
Tonight.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So then are we voting on the fact that we want to do an MOU and we're just preluding with this resolution? Or what
Yeah.
are we voting on action-wise there?
I guess the question is, do we think we need, I mean, we made some commitments in here, do we want to approve a resolution and have that in writing, that this is what's coming in August? We're working towards a formal MOU to be on the agenda in August, or do we just say we're doing it? Like, that's up to you guys whether we need a resolution or not.
Oh, yeah, I never understand it. It's a memorandum of understanding.
Yeah. So
It's like an agreement letter.
the conversation is.
I hate acronyms.
Yeah, do we need a board resolution to say we're working on that? And I think what the resolution, I don't know that process-wise we need it.
Yeah.
What it does is say, hey, we wholeheartedly support life flight being on our, and any other emergency services on our campus. We're a community resource. We still support this. Like, so that's whether, and that can be written in an MOU, but having that resolution could be helpful just to say, no, like, check the
Yeah,
X meeting.
I mean, I know that we plan on having the MOU and all of that approved for August, but since we don't meet in July, and I think it would be nice to have something to give to Life Flight and Western Lane to give that assurance, hopefully, so that they start feeling more comfortable to land. And because they have to make that decision to want to land in the evenings and at night. So having something like this and then knowing the trespass order has been done, I mean, normally I would say let's just do the MOU since it's going to be like in a month, but it's not. We have 2 months out and summer is here. There's a lot of accidents on the dunes. Someone dies in our river every freaking year. Let's do it. Let's do a resolution maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and they're gonna know anyway because we have to work with them for the MOU. Like,
Right.
it has to be
That's
developed,
true.
Together. But I think for all.
so, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. I
I
think,
think we put it out there.
yeah, I think,
Because,
why not?
you know, we
We
listened and
are
we
doing
did.
it,
Yeah.
Well, just
Yeah.
to, formally declare it.
Since
Yeah.
we won't have that MOU signed till August.
Sharon, we did, like, in discussion, we wrote a draft based on this meeting. It may need additions. Does it work to put
Right,
it there?
additions and entities, you mean?
Yeah.
You wanna email it
'Cause we
to
just
me?
Oh,
have
I
it-
think I might have actually added.
You
included
did, you
based
changed
on
the
your-
one things, you changed the things where it didn't just say like our residents.
Yeah.
Just because,
Yeah.
it's bigger than that mostly uses it,
Yeah,
honestly.
and I think it just says right now, the longstanding partnership with Western Maine Fire and EMS Authority. Do we need to add?
Add Mapleton.
We need to add, yeah.
Do you guys have a copy of the, have we?
I think you only
I
sent
think
it.
you only
Yeah,
sent
yeah.
it to the two
Okay.
of us.
Abby and Michelle and I.
Let me share it to,
I think it was because of like rules
Trying to
of like
have
how
this
many
meeting.
people.
Yes, yeah.
No,
Rules of
it
more
makes
than
sense,
two.
'cause it makes total sense, but just saying, we
The
don't.
3 or
have
more
it
thing.
yet. Yeah.
While you're doing that, what am I actually asking for a vote on then? That
To
we
approve
would
a
like to
resolution?
approve a resolution.
for this
Approve the
particular
creation
resolution.
of a resolution.
Well,
No.
unless it's created.
Like, I think we want to, I think
Have
we
it
want
done.
this to be an effective, it can be, but like, if everyone agrees on what it says right here.
Well, did you work with Lane EMS and stuff?
don't
This
think
is
the
a
resolution
board
was-
resolution, so different than the MOU. This is saying.
Oh, gotcha.
This
gotcha.
is saying,
Yeah, no, I was
we're
confused.
going
I
to
thought
do
we were, I
these
thought
things.
this was the MOU.
No,
and I
the
was like,
MOU
yeah.
needs work,
Yeah,
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 and
yeah.
that was the conversation Andrea and Mary and I had is, I don't think we can get a good MOU in place by tonight
Yeah.
that gives each of these, and we weren't talking about Mapleton Fire, full disclosure, so like getting this input is helpful. So then now we go do that process, but this,
In the
this is
meantime,
the
we have
board saying
this.
we support
Yeah, gotcha.
this.
Yep, cool.
Can you share it with me, or you?
Oh, yeah.
Or you can just hand me your computer and I can plug it in.
Let me share it.
Okay.
I like to see my computer.
FYI, we
Can't
lost
see that
one of
part.
the power phase.
Is it still off?
Oh, is that what the pop was?
Yeah. So.
was like-
That big thing out there.
Right
Yeah.
after we lost.
Was this Teresa?
Oh, yeah, it is. I'll take it. I'm gonna go to her house tonight. I'm gonna have a 5 a.m. flight, so I'm gonna be picked up at her house at 3.
I bet she was
Wow.
walking back down this hallway
I
pretty soon.
doubt it.
No, you don't think so? I'm giving her too much credit.
Thank you. I'll
Okay.
text her. Good catch, though. It's because of the stickers.
Yeah, I know.
I have a matching one. Look. Our one of our tribal members, Morgan, designed it. Is it up yet? Sorry. Okay, I don't want to be distracting. It's like all being streamed right now.
Are you thinking that we have to change this? Because it looks.
Just
it
add-
looks
No, I
really-
think we look through it once to see if there's anything, if everybody looks through it and says,
Yeah.
that looks good.
Yeah.
We just need to add like a couple. We need to add Mapleton Fire
Yeah, on one.
on 2.
Whereas,
on the second-
whereas, yeah, or, I'm sorry.
Oh,
yeah,
the
they
second
also
whereas,
have-
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The second one. The longstanding partnership with West. Yeah, that one.
What, fire district? Is that what it's formally called? Mapleton Fire District?
I don't think so.
Mapleton
Department.
Fire Department?
I think it's department.
Okay.
And then I don't think it says it in the.
It's an and.
No, that and
Oh.
is
Oh,
the
Western
that whole
Maine
name.
Fire.
Yeah, it's just really long.
Oh, Okay. Well, that makes it look.
I know it does look weird, but yeah, it is there in their title.
Can't be a and sign.
I know it would look grammatically better, huh?
There you go, Darren.
There.
Yep.
It does make it feel better. And then I don't know if it
What's the
mentions
last
it
one?
somewhere down further, Jaren, because that thing goes longer.
I know it says it too, but
Yeah,
does
it
it need to
does.
say something about the lower field not being?
I think, the MOU for sure, but I think here as long as we
Right.
say, and what we don't wanna do is like
Limit.
prohibit
Yeah.
that. There may be some situation
Yeah.
sometime where that
Yeah.
makes sense because it's the middle of a football game
Yep.
or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's true.
But we
It's
wanna,
just preferable that it's not down there because I think that's also part of our drain field.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
but yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll risk it in an instance that it has to be.
yeah, and so, but I think if we,
Operations manager.
yeah, I tried to be clear, like, go up there, so.
But yeah, I think down there referred to the other entities again.
Here?
Like, yeah, so like, well, I mean, I guess just refer to them everywhere and then it's fine. Right, they go by, but they're the ones, does Mapleton dispatch it or them? I guess just.
I think
include
I
them.
think we just keep
Just
saying
including,
both.
so everywhere,
yeah.
Jaren, that it refers to Western Lane Fire and EMS Authority, we need to put Mapleton Fire Department as well.
Join number 1 too.
Yeah.
we just call it MFD.
Yeah, like
Figured it
that, down lower, it looks like you can do that. Oh, there you go. Perfect. I like it.
And then,
Okay,
Perfect.
I mean, that looks good. I mean, this will just be a nice thing to have in place till that MOU is formally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the resolution doesn't go away,
All right. Does anyone else have anything on it?
No.
Okay.
so you'll sign it and Sue will sign it and Jen will sign it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take, you guys vote and then I'll take the word draft.
Okay. All right,
So you're
so,
gonna take that, because all the way through, you don't use the ampersand sign, and I don't think it looks right. I think you should take it out.
Take and?
The ampersand,
up
below
above.
that, yeah, I mean, if you use commas, because it's like 3 different entities, you just use a comma, you don't have to put and after
No,
MFD. right
no, but
there.
it's part of their title.
It's not 3 different entities, it's only 2
It's
different
Western Lane
entities.
Fire and EMS Authority.
That's what he
their
did, that's what he
official
did at
name.
ampersand to separate it.
Oh, I
You have to
see.
say and over there.
And then after that, I think we're just using Wolfia.
Oh, gotcha, okay, gotcha.
So you can do the ampersand, I think that's fine. Okay, and then, so if no one else has anything on it, then I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right, draft removed. Oop, there you go.
Okay.
Okay. So, we're gonna do the trespass stuff tomorrow, and then this can also be sent out to appropriate people tomorrow, as long as you sign it tonight?
Yeah, I can say it tonight. Okay.
I'll hit print.
And then Ryan can take a copy too. So he can do whatever he wants with it.
Yeah, well,
And just like take
Put it on
it to
your
the
fridge.
streets and just throw it into the air like a newsy.
We're gonna know
Extra,
then.
Throw it into this. Okay, no, never mind. I'm not gonna say that out loud.
I just hit print, so whenever we
Perfect.
wanna do that. If you ever need to go tonight, you can stay through the whole thing, but if you need to go, let us know and we'll go sign it real quick.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, well, in the,
You can hang up
Urge
and tell us if we're doing
to-
stuff right.
try to keep a nice tight schedule for all of us and especially Mary. Let's move quick.
Urban Trail's calling me.
district report. You got a nice short version?
You told me keep it short.
I
so
did.
We had graduation. We graduated 11 seniors. Freaking proud of them.
Oh, it's
And
not because we have 11 less kids in this.
Right, true, so we should have kept them.
The budget guy's like, keep them. No, Jared. Shh. Okay. So, yeah, really proud of them and of our staff. That like, they're, yeah. That's kind of, I don't know, and personally I just get to say, like, that's my first group through that.
Oh,
like,
true.
Well, that's kind of true. They were sophomores, but I feel like we got them
Longer
and we're like,
distance
you could
with
do
them.
more, and then they were like, okay, and then they did. So it was fun. And then Sports Affair, got to show off lots of student work, had the salmon ceremony with lots of representation from the tribe, not just tribal council, and it was a fun night of interaction. And then we started this is the thing I wanted to share, we started this kind of blue ribbon recognition of work aligned to our portrait of a graduate, so dynamic communicators, thinkers, innovators, and advocates. And so representatives from tribal council, when they were going through, I gave them one ribbon of each to assign to work, and then I did one. And moving into next year, would love to invite you guys and other county commissioners. Seneca can come and just honor that work, and especially in alignment with our portrait of a graduate. So I'll share an elementary thing later about report cards. And then we'll talk about testing. So we'll give you guys updates, but there's your short, sweet. Perfect. It was a good month.
I just have to say the graduation was lovely, beautiful. And it's the first time I've ever been at a graduation where we didn't have a spotlight on the speaker. And so it doesn't have to be like a hot light, but you have to be able to see people talking.
Yeah, I saw some of the, so I think what we did during practice, we had the doors open, and so.
It's had more light, but I did notice, especially in pictures, I noticed a lot too.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you can't
it's
see
so
us all.
dark.
Yeah, Michelle told us after, and I was like, yesterday it looked okay though, I don't understand. And
No,
I
it
thought
must
about
be
it
what it
later,
was.
and as soon as those doors shut, I think the light that we had, and then all those pictures, I was like, oh, you're right, can't see anything.
Get turned on back after the
After the slideshow?
So it didn't get turned back on, but that I asked Michelle, and she's like, it didn't matter. We couldn't see that corner even beforehand. So
It was just kind of drab over there, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Spotlight.
Yeah.
So we don't own a spotlight anymore?
I know.
We have one, but.
It's not super trustworthy, so
Yeah.
that's why we were trying to use the gym lights above there, and like, now
We
we know
usually
it.
turn the lights off so that we can see the slideshow.
Yeah.
And then the house lights come on, but that just still, the speaker.
Yeah, was dark. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think probably, sadly, everyone's.
Okay, you're up.
I've been submitting for grants, trying to recoup some money, and paid some bills and stuff, you know. You can see, I sent you plenty of finance
You
stuff.
sure did.
I told Jaron, I was like, short meeting tonight, you don't have to say anything that's already in there.
Just right.
So he's trying so hard.
It says read your report.
Yeah, and flooring's supposed to start Monday in the middle school.
Oh, yay.
Oh, in middle school, oh,
So
Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yay.
It's good.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
gotta say yay.
I can't wait to pull in and see the flooring trucks.
And
Yes.
Okay, so on to the consent agenda. Since we were keeping it short, I hope everyone looked over their things. If you didn't, you're perusing them now.
Did you guys see Jaron send out a few more things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. Any questions, concerns on the consent agenda?
No. Good work on all that payroll, like,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom. A
Yeah.
lot. Yes.
It is. June's always so
All
much
that,
money going
all
out.
that going out.
Yes, a lot going on.
All right, I would,
Yeah, I move that we
thank you.
adopt the consent agenda.
A second.
All those in favor? All right. State testing.
Okay. So following up from last month, I shared sorry, I have an open thing here. That we had submitted a compliance plan, or it's not called compliance, corrective action plan for state testing, opt-in still being the thing that they're pushing back on. I shared the letter to you guys that says like anything with an opt-in process, they're not going to approve. I had a call with them. They said, so our practice that does these things that seems to meet this, you're not gonna compromise, and they're like, no. I said, okay. So I've done a couple phone calls with them, two parts. One, like now that we have a practice in place, and like this year I did the phone calls directly, and having done that, the value in those calls is really high. And so that's for me the piece that like I want to be able to have those phone calls. And so I talked through with them like, can we still do that? And feels like the answer is yes, but then there's some questions on the framing of things. And one of the things they said is, well, instead of framing as opt-in, maybe use the word participation. And so that kind of I was like, that's good advice. Let me think through this. So, and then the second, two of you had asked, like, what happens if we don't comply, and what are the next steps? I called, and because it's Division 22, the next step would be, they tightened up the language in their OAR and the manual, and that was approved by the state board like 2 weeks ago, or whenever they met, maybe a week ago. And so if we're not in compliance, then the next step would be a letter from Director Williams, saying you're not in compliance and withholding funds. And I said, which funds? And they said state school fund, because it's Division 22 connected. So then I asked, I thought it was federal because of state testing, or because of those testing requirements. And she said there might also be other funds, but this is a Division 22. That's who we've been working through with this. So, and I said, well, how, like the whole state school fund? And she said, this hasn't happened with testing, but in other situations where they've withheld funds, it started at 5%, and then if a district goes into compliance, then it switches, and if not, she's like, I don't know, but I imagine it would ramp up from 5%, up kind of thing. So, like, okay. So I went back and looked at all the back and forth and kind of what's possible in here, and I think I shared this with everybody, but it's the 2023 resolution is what we've been operating off of. Our policy IL is state, what's it called? Sorry, I can tell you the name of it, but it's IL.
It doesn't match, right?
Yeah, so there's an opt-out paragraph in that policy that's different than we've been operating, and so they brought that to my attention, and I said, well, we certainly don't want a policy that doesn't match our process. So that I would bring that up today. It's called assessment program. Sorry, my brain cared about that. So anyway, I went back to the resolution and looked through, and I don't think any of the whereas statements, and actually, June, let me send this to you so you can put it up there as well. And I'll share it to all of, I don't think I've shared this to anybody. Abby, Michelle, okay. That should be on its way. So I highlighted the couple spots that I recommended changes, and below it I have the original, so if anybody wants to scroll down to look at that. But It is not called SBAC, it's called Oregon Statewide Assessment System, so I thought it was important to match what it's called. And then that statement, I wrote it as, whereas state results are often suppressed and thus not available for sharing with our community or setting state level accountability goals. The original was, whereas state test results do not provide data or information that individual teachers can use to inform their instruction or identify areas of remediation among their students. That's true and untrue. It's the next year, right? We get that data, it's the next year, but if data exists, we can and should use it. We're not ignoring that. So it was like, and that's not really a part that we've talked about over the last 2 years. It's really this piece of like, hey, our data's suppressed, we can't share it to the community. It only matters at the individual level in our community. At the state level, they can see those things, they can do that. But I think part of what we're talking about as a small rural district is, hey, even if 100% of my third graders test, which they almost did this year, it's still suppressed. I only have 8 of them. So it doesn't change anything systematically for us. And so anyway, that was my recommendation on that particular. I think everything else we've talked about a lot. And then the part that I think matters most, sorry, I lost my spot here, is that bottom one. Now, therefore, it be resolved, parent-guardian choice through direct contact with Mapleton School District Administration outreach will determine their students' participation in annual OSAS testing. That may need cleaned up slightly, just grammatically, but and that's literally what we're doing, right? Whether they sign this year we ended up doing no forms. They didn't want opt-in forms, and it was like, okay, well, what does this process look like without a form? And so I called and I marked a spreadsheet, yes or no, had 100% contact with families and had good conversations with families, and there were no barriers. I kept calling and texting. I mean, maybe I'm annoying, but it didn't feel like a barrier. And
there was a really high percentage of people who tested this year.
This year 60% opted in. So we tested, actually, and I think by the time we finished testing, 1.5 kids that changed. So I think it's actually 60%, 59%. Anyway, it's right there. And that was across elementary and that's with elementary and secondary. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 11th grades. And some grades were really high percentage. I'd have to look it up, but I think 3rd and 8th and 11th were pretty high, which is interesting. Yeah. I'm thinking back to when I was a kid, and that's when those tests happened, which is interesting. And then, some grade levels were below 50% and some were close to 100%. So it's kind of up and down. And then, so whether it's called opt-in or opt-out, I don't think that language is the sticking point right now. And I think this and they may call this a process, but at that point, I think it's hard to argue against parent choice.
The fact is you're gonna call and explain it and they're gonna choose to participate or not. Doesn't have to say opt-in or opt-out.
I explained this below there, that what I would send, wait, that's the original. Okay, so, so the process that I wrote up in here is annually before spring conferences. So we've done this after spring conferences the last couple of years, but if we move the phone calls to before spring conferences, annually before spring conferences, Mapleton administrators will make contact, in-person, phone, text, parent, square with every family of students 3rd through 8th and 11th grades, as well as sending required notices, et cetera. We do that. On these calls, Parents will be provided an opportunity to ask any questions about state testing and to share their choice of whether to test their student this year. I'll probably add in math, reading, and science. Those who choose not to test will be provided opt-out forms to sign at their spring conference appointments. So that's the one they want those, and if they say no, then when they come to conferences, we'll have those there for them to sign, and if they're not at their conference, we'll track them down. As stated in policy IL, the district shall provide supervised study time for students who are excused from participating in the assessment. We've done that. I don't know how it became a point in that one email. Like, I looked back to all the stuff and I don't know why that got elevated, but we've never strayed from that. So, yeah, we believe this meets the points below. This is all their stuff. Right above that, Jaren, this is the paragraph in the policy IL that it's a longer policy, but there's everything else, like it talks about assessments in general, but this is the paragraph at stake. A parent on behalf of their student or an adult student may annually opt out of taking a statewide summative assessment by completing and submitting ODE's opt-out form to the school. So that's still, based on what I wrote below, that's true. The district shall provide supervised study time for students who are excused from participating in the assessment, still true. A student may be excused from the statewide assessment program for disability or religious reasons, that's always been true. Parents and adult students will be provided the required notices and access to forms by the district that include a time frame in which statewide assessments will take place, and an adult student's or parent's right to request an exemption from taking the state summative assessments, that's still true.
So the question I have, the 4-year time, when we did the survey and we asked students, parents, and staff really pointed to that point that you took out, which was that they didn't receive data that could inform their instruction. If we put timely data in there, I mean, it is a point that the staff made, that they're worthless for them.
Whereas, I think the timely piece of that is, because it's summative, right, those kids are going to the next grade. Sometimes that teacher has that student again, sometimes they don't. But if, Jaren, I'm changing it on the one but if we added that here, whereas to not provide timely data. I don't know if there's,
Tell you really have to add, yeah.
And then I still think this is
I think that's a good
the
point.
piece that has come up a lot over the last 2 years to say, and I even, on the call with the assessment department team person, said, you guys as a state don't ask me to use that. You don't let me. I came in with a goal and you told me to throw it away.
Right.
And she's like, I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Right.
I was like, okay. So hopefully we're helping them understand.
Okay.
This isn't, it's coming from a lot of places, but it's not to be jerks. It's like, hey,
it's really nice.
You don't even value it for us in this sense. So not you as an individual, you as a state agency, so.
No, I like your additions, and I like where your brain took this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like, if that's not compliant, if that's not corrective action or compliance, I don't know what is, so.
You're actually talking to every parent and family, and that's not gonna be the case in other districts, so.
And I don't read this as an opt-in or opt-out. I don't read it as either. I read it as a conversation, which I called and directly asked, can we have a conversation still? Yeah, of course, we want those things, okay.
And their stupid form gets signed at the thing,
And
they
collect it and do that.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Everybody should be happy.
Yes.
Yeah, and we were never committed to having an extra form for opting in, right? Like, or at least if we were, sorry, I did not. But that became, that's just one more administrative step that that didn't feel like the point. So, anyway, so if this works, I think updating the resolution as an action item would be the next step, and then this is
Updating the resolution would put us in line with the policy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't have to do anything with the policy.
Yeah. So originally I was looking at the policy, and then I was like, wait, actually, there's not much here that would need to change. So
Yeah,
I
we just
flipped
aligned with
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
And then that paragraph about the process, basically from the word process down, annually before spring conferences, that part I read, and then we believe this meets the points outlined below. That's what I would send to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we need to vote on that tonight then, right?
The resolution part, yes.
Okay, it's not on here, right? So let's just,
Yeah, we
since
need
we're moving to action items then. Oh, go ahead.
The wordsmith just that, like, now therefore be resolved, parent guardian choice through direct contact with Mapleton School District Administration outreach. Can we just?
It's awful. I know.
Yeah.
I don't usually start my sentences with now therefore be it resolved, and it.
I just think it would say through outreach, through outreach via direct contact with Mapleton School District Administration or something. Because it's the administration outreach part that I have trouble.
Yeah.
And bang your
That's
goblet.
the same thing has to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So how would you?
Slam your
Through
goblet. I'm not
parent guardian choice, determined through direct contact with Mapleton School District
Administration.
Thanks, me too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then it says we'll determine again.
Yeah.
Determined through. Yeah.
Yep.
What about parent guardian
Check out the first
choice
determined.
about? It's so many qualifiers. I don't know where to put them.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Just take out determined.
Parent guardian.
Yeah, take out the first
yeah,
determined. What did you say, parent guardian?
Parent
Through direct
guardian choice
contact.
Through direct contact.
Sorry, I know you're saying something, but
Take
I'm
out
asking
the first-
ChatGPT.
Take out the first determined.
I don't know though. Parent guardian choice through direct contact with, I don't think so. I think you have to have some
Yes,
sort of
no.
like
Isn't that what you sent to us?
parent guardian
But
choice.
parent guardian choice of participation.
Through direct, no, yeah, through direct contact.
Right?
Like,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
scared.
Terrifying.
What about
For real? We don't need a brain.
with parent?
Choice will determine their students' participation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So start with through.
Parent guardian choice.
So we're gonna move parent guardian choice down.
Down, yeah.
There, yes.
Through direct contact.
Do you want to hear what ChatGPT said?
Sure.
Sometimes
Sure.
it's my go-to now.
Mhm.
Now therefore be it resolved that a student's participation in annual OSAS testing shall be determined by the parent or guardian's choice, communicated through direct contact with Mapleton School District Administration.
Theirs is longer.
Yeah, this is
You
fine.
guys got it? Okay.
I mean, the
I wasn't
first-
listening
I
over
thought
there.
that your first one was
I
fine.
did-
It said just worked.
This is
Yeah.
fine.
And really,
Okay, can we,
It just, the more I read, when I read it out loud, I was
like
like,
it.
ooh.
can I?
We got it? Yeah.
Can we move to
Yeah,
this?
we can, so now we're moving to action items. So I would entertain a motion to approve the state testing resolution.
With the changes?
Yeah, with the changes that
right.
were just
I like
made
it.
seconds ago.
So moved.
And seconded.
Okay.
All those in favor? Unanimous, okay. These are second reads. Did anyone have any questions? Awesome. Does anyone wanna?
There, you know
We
what?
decided the movie thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
And
There was the other one that.
That
you
was
said
the
I
one.
failed.
The
failed.
movie
You
and the
sent
other-
it to me, and I don't think I touched it
Can we
since
put those
yesterday.
on
Can we
next
put
time?
8, 1, 14, or 13 and 14?
Yes.
Sorry, I failed
Do
to
we
move
need
them.
to do
Okay.
student fees also?
Student
Or did we-
fees, That, I think that's always on the August one. You know, with that big long checklist that's on the August, like, the bank things and all that. One of them
Okay.
is student fees, and that's where we wanna do the, how much it costs for
Yeah, because we need to,
athletics.
yeah, okay, so we'll do that in August too.
Yep.
Okay, so, everything, does someone want to move on everything but 13 and 14?
Yeah.
Yes, I move that we approve all policies in 8.1 except 8.1.13 and 8.1.14.
Anyone second that?
Sorry.
So
Do
confusing.
you know what the motion?
We thought we were talking about the sports fee.
Oh,
thing, so I was
we
trying to
decided we
explain
were
to
moving
her.
that until August.
Okay.
My read on that last month was, yes, we're all in support, but we gotta figure out the amount, and that's always on the August
Yeah.
docket anyway, and so we'll just talk about it there instead of putting it here.
But Michelle just wasn't, was she here last month?
We don't know if I was.
I,
Are you here with us now?
Sure.
I'm not sure if I'm here now,
Look
right?
at the meeting minutes that you
Yes,
approved.
whoops.
Oh my God.
This last month has blown by.
This last
Look at Sharon.
We are a functioning
Taskmaster.
Very functioning.
Where is it? I can't, did you put it in here?
No, she
I wasn't
She
here.
missed-
I didn't
she
think
missed
you
my
were
I
here.
know,
budget.
I was
Trying to explain to her what was talking about.
Okay, so Maisie would like to speak again.
Yes.
Again.
What are you moving?
I move we approve all policies in 8.1 except for 8.1.13 and 8.1.14.
I'll second that.
No, Michelle said.
Oh, you were-
Michelle said.
Oh, you already seconded? Okay. Did she? What she? All those in favor? Okay.
All in favor?
And Michelle's
Yeah,
raising her
oh,
hand.
totally.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, personnel. Everyone can sense the rush.
One addition, excited to announce, Sarah Prynetz as our new elementary principal
Oh.
as of yesterday.
And where's,
How do you spell that?
Preinitz.
Oh, wow, I
did
did
not
not, I
do
went
that.
princess without a C,
Also.
so.
and where'd you find her?
She's
I'm not
coming
even
to
gonna-
us from the special education department at Laney SD. I knew her, but not very
Oh.
well. We've worked together, but yeah, she put in for the job and came and stood out.
She has a
So,
stud background too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Okay. Yay,
Excellent.
sad
Yay.
background.
Yep, and she's gonna join for the October whatever that next one is, August. And we'll be on campus a couple days in July, 2nd and 3rd. We've already got that scheduled. She's meeting with Beth. Beth left notebooks galore up there, and we're working on getting those in her hands, and it'll be a nice transition.
Excellent.
Okay, so,
And these other positions
Sorry,
are
these
all
they've
EAs?
all been working. So we've had a lot of turnover at that those one-on-one positions and EA positions. All three have been with us in less permanent roles, and we've hired all three into permanent roles with change.
Okay, so this educational assistant applies to all three.
All
So
three.
they're all
Yep.
EAs, okay.
And that guy's different than the football coach?
He's the same guy.
Okay.
We just only hired him as football coach so far, so now we're hiring him permanently as an EA.
He's the guy who came from McKinsey?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
so he's the football coach and an EA.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, football coach and EA. And then Brittany Morris, helpful to know, has a a certified teacher degree. She didn't do the student teaching portion of that, but we're looking at supporting her to get through that program too. So
Okay.
she's got a great background.
Cool. Okay, someone
Cool.
run with this.
I move that we approve the hire of Brittany Morris, Sarah Fulton, Jack Devereaux, and Sarah
Prynetz.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, last meeting, we did do the budget beforehand, right? So.
Yes, Michelle missed it, so I'm gonna go over it again.
Oh.
Ready, Mary?
It was good, they asked some
Mary was here so she
questions.
could leave.
There's a lot of good money was put in a lot of good places.
Thanks.
It seemed wonderful.
There's money
Jared,
going,
there's
there's money coming in, and there's money going out.
Money goes out.
And it balances,
Yeah.
and
So moved.
Huzzah.
Sharon
sent some
watches
stuff and
that
stuff and.
money like a hawk, so
Yeah,
it's
we know
great.
that about him.
And we're in a really good place actually, which is amazing. I'm very happy.
Nice job, Jaren.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Seriously.
layoffs happening across the state and they're not happening here.
Yep.
No,
And we're
right?
in a
Yeah.
really great place in our reserves and everything, so just our
I wasn't
budget.
feeling happy mid-month, this month, watching my savings accounts.
Well, yeah, it's like, keep typing in numbers and it goes
But he
down.
says that,
People.
you say that, but then,
But then
like,
I requested all this grant
we
money.
draw down all the money back and he only feels bad for a couple weeks, so.
Good, he's only
Isn't
sulking for a
Isn't
while.
it true, though, that we're going to see a decline in state school funding?
Not yet.
In the next biennium?
Well,
Decline, well, there's
We'll
still,
see. I mean, that's 2 years away. We'll see. Well, are you
Better
talking
be
about
happy right now,
next
right?
biennium?
Yeah, I want to be happy now. Never
Yeah.
mind.
yeah, this biennium,
I mean, we've
it looks
got
like 11.4 is gonna pass, which isn't a big decline for us, it's just not always enough with rising costs to
Right.
cover rising
Yeah.
costs
Right,
for
right,
everybody, so, and then hopefully things turn upwards, but 2 years out, we can't, we need to be frugal this next 2 years so that we're
Right.
not, we can't depend on a strong economy.
So we're not doing music and we're not going to talk about getting band back and,
We can talk about a lot of things, but I find grant funding, I don't use state school fund for extra things, so
Yeah, find
it
grants for that.
becomes finding all of
I don't think
that
the
extra
music is
money.
extra.
For new things.
New things, okay. All right, yes,
Or,
got
or
it, got
old
it.
and
Yeah.
old and
Got
Yeah, old new things.
Got it.
So,
What about the budget part that passed that the preschool promise hit?
say that again.
I think that part of the whole state budget was a hit to preschool promise.
So,
Oh.
have you seen anything on, so
I
literally
just saw that.
everything that comes through for us, so even Stronger Connections is a 2-year grant that I think I reported a month or two ago to you guys that we have the first year of it, but we think we're gonna lose the second year. Today on a phone call, they're like, no, that's allocated, you're good on that, which is $250,000. But the federal government, a bunch of title funds that we don't get, you know, that like, we just don't benefit from those, but then 21st Century Schools is our after-school program that's on the list of like no funding right now, and so there are a couple things that I'll come back to you. I didn't talk to anybody about preschool yet, but we'll keep watching those things.
I did just
and-
see that
Okay.
today.
Okay.
That preschool promise budget was like dramatically reduced.
Okay. I will follow up and figure out what that means for us.
Yeah.
And I haven't followed it super closely right now. Yeah, let me just look.
Yep,
back to you.
yeah, perfect.
So, let's adopt the budget.
Let's,
I move that we adopt the budget, 8.3.
There's a whole resolution.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's in your packet.
Here, it's right here. She can.
Does she have to read all that?
Sign.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
You have to sign
Okay,
it.
good.
Resolution 2025-01.
Okay. Do they like vote on this? Do we vote on it and then I sign it? What happens here?
yeah. we have
Okay,
to-
all right, all those in.
Don't do that.
Who
Someone
seconded?
has to second.
I did.
Okay, perfect. All those in favor?
It's fine. We're fine.
We are really having well
We're
together.
fine. I swear. It's still daylight out. There's still sun. I'm like,
Okay, done.
Yeah, it's almost 10 now, it's great.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, it's
That
wonderful.
part's true.
I
Okay,
mean, we're so close to solstice.
2 more guys.
All right.
Elementary report card.
Okay, so I
Revision.
sent those
I
out
saw
to you
that.
guys through email today. So throughout the year, the elementary staff, I'm gonna read the exact thing from that for you. Elementary staff has been doing professional development, really looking at curriculum scope and sequence, prioritization standards and the way that standards map across our curriculum, especially for literacy. And that led to requests from the teachers to update the report card, which hadn't been updated in quite some
100
time.
years, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I actually don't know how long, but long enough. So Beth said the teachers wanted the board to know that they felt the shift in the report card better reflects what is actually being offered in the school. For example, there is no longer a technology grade, but art and SEL were added because they go to those courses because those courses are being offered. Math was super easy and checked against the achieve the core. There's prioritization standards exist and have existed, and we mapped those by grade level. Unfortunately, no similar documents exist for English language arts, so they use their time to map the curriculum and do some conversations about vertical articulation and the way different skills move from kinder across grade levels to sixth grade, and arrived at the overarching ideas and how skills fit into those. So new layout, hopefully you saw those. K1, kinder and first are not done entirely, and there's some verb matching that needs to happen. So like sometimes it says demonstrate, and then the next one will say participates. And so there's little things like that, but we wanted to bring it to you guys either to approve now or to put it on your radar for approval in August, whatever you're comfortable with.
What's everyone comfortable with?
Well, I haven't looked at it, so.
Perfect.
Okay, then we're moving into August. Perfect. The gardens, cafeteria policies and procedures.
So last
the PUD now.
month, Dave was here, spoke to those, we shared and could answer any questions.
The PUD, right?
Yeah.
There, yeah.
And then I think did those go in the board packet this time?
Yeah.
And so not many changes since he's presented, but we wanted to make sure last time, but it's the work that food systems team is doing to connect our gardening initiatives to cafeteria and food usage are all outlined in there, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. This is very cool.
I mean, it's interesting that, so this is like policy and procedure, it's different than, so this is not like going in our policy manual or anything.
Yeah,
This
it's
is just
more
like-
that this is
Just how
what
they'll
we're up
work.
to and that it's board supported and you know about. I mean, it could go into the docket like that, I don't know, it could be assigned a number or a thing, but it's
I don't
more,
feel like
hey,
it
here's what we're
should.
working
It's
on.
like an AR rather
Yeah.
than, you know, so like, yeah.
If it's an AR, then it's got a policy with it, right?
Well, it's not an AR, I'm just saying
She
it's
said
written
like-
more
like
like an
an
AR, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, okay, cool.
But really what I think the team's looking for, and it's helpful when we go for other grants or partnerships to say,
It's
hey,
approved.
we do this and our board is in full support, here's the outline of the work that we're doing.
And who put this together, David and who?
This is Courtney, Dave, and Kamari. They're
Oh,
that
okay.
team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave's kind of the taking on the lead for like for this side of it, but that team works on it.
So are we just saying that we like have reviewed and approved the Mapleton School Garden Cafeteria policies and procedures as
I think that's
outlined?
perfect. Yeah.
Okay, well then I move that the Mapleton School Board has reviewed and approves the Mapleton Schools Garden Cafeteria policies and procedures as outlined, presented and outlined.
It's an action.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
she moved it.
Yeah, 8.5.
Okay, you seconded?
Perfect. All those in favor?
And we'll get that posted up on the website too. I think that's the place to put it, is just on the website under programs.
Yeah,
That's there and
that's great.
available, but not.
Oh, it's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah,
for
that's great.
Yeah.
Any new public comment, Jaren?
No.
All right.
Go, Andrew, go.
I know.
Board comments, but it's 7:59 and your goal was 8, just to
Oh,
say.
okay. Hey, does anyone have any, discussion comments from the board?
No, very long-winded one coming right away.
Right now?
Yeah.
Wade, go. Mary and I decided on 8, and I was like, that's lofty on a good night. So, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor? It's still
Whoa!
7:59 on my
And
phone.
59 seconds as you did it.
This is the first time ever, like 6 years.
Take it to the casino, look at that.
Nice.
Put it all on.
Ryan, you need to